Picture yourself standing at the intersection of deep emotional connection and raw vulnerability, a place where, under normal circumstances, genuine affection and a sense of security should flourish. Now imagine that same sacred space invaded by someone whose entire mental and emotional framework is shaped by the need for control, power, and hollow validation. That's what happens when you share intimacy with a narcissist. The bedroom, a stage for affection in a loving relationship, becomes a cold theater of manipulation in a narcissistic one. Every touch, word, and gesture might look like the script for a fiery romance, but behind the scenes lies a chilling mental narrative. In this video, we will immerse ourselves in that mental narrative by discussing 10 deeply disturbing things that narcissists might be thinking when you are most vulnerable with them. As you read or listen, you may find yourself unsettled, and that reaction is completely valid. But if you stay with me until the end, you'll also learn ways to reclaim your agency and protect your heart from these manipulative tactics. Here's how we'll unfold our conversation. I'll open with a more extended scene to give you a sense of the dynamic. We'll weave in a real-life story, someone we'll call Alicia. She generously shared her experience with me, one that painfully underscores what a narcissistic relationship can do to a person's sense of self-worth, especially in the bedroom. We'll dissect each of the 10 manipulative thoughts or stances that a narcissist may adopt, layering in Alicia's experiences. Intermittently, we'll invite you to reflect on your own experiences. We'll also pepper in small calls to action or reflection, so you can gauge where you stand in your own relationships. Lastly, to keep this from sinking into pure gloom, I'll share a couple of real-world glimpses, some from known public figures who overcame manipulative relationships, and how they rose above it all. By the time you finish reading, I hope you'll feel validated in your sense that something's off, and remember that there's a whole world of life, and love, beyond these entanglements. Let's open with a small but potent memory. Alicia told me about the night she suspected something was very wrong in her marriage. She'd been married for almost 4 years to a man named Jared, who at first was unbelievably charming, witty, and apparently caring. But after the wedding, cracks appeared. Jared became colder, more demanding, more fixated on everything from Alicia's weight to her social circle, employing sneers or sly comments to keep her perpetually unsettled. One evening, Alicia tried to initiate closeness, thinking that maybe this could heal the growing rift between them. Jared initially obliged, but as the night unfolded, Alicia noticed something. When he looked at her, it was like she was a painting he was critiquing in an art gallery. Disconnected, analyzing. The moment they finished, he turned away, no afterglow, no closeness. He lay quietly, eyes open, seemingly satisfied yet distant. The next morning, Alicia found him thoroughly uninterested. She tried to talk about the previous night, nothing urgent, just a normal conversation. He snapped, "You got what you wanted, didn't you? Let me be." Alicia was left with a cold weight in her chest, a sense that something deeply intimate had been twisted into a tool for power. Over time, she recognized she was dealing with narcissism. Now, let's delve into the 10 key disturbing internal monologues or stances that narcissists might hold during sex, and how Alicia's story exemplifies each one. 1. This act is my ownership certificate. In healthy intimacy, two people become vulnerable, sharing a bond that fosters mutual respect. For a narcissist, though, sex can be about conquering and possessing. Alicia recalled Jared's smug grin the morning after. It was a grin that said, "You see? You're still here, under my control." By crossing that boundary of physical intimacy, the narcissist interprets it as your final submission. In their mind, you are now their property. While you may interpret it as an expression of devotion, they see it as a transaction completing their conquest. That's the chilling part, it's never about a shared moment, it's about securing your compliance. Now, let me engage you. If you ever felt that weird sense of, "I owe them something because we just shared that moment," how did it leave you feeling? Possibly unsettled, manipulated, or uneasy. That's the hallmark of their sense of ownership. 2. Everything here revolves around my performance. Most of us, when we're physically intimate with a partner, want to create an atmosphere of mutual pleasure, exploration, and closeness. But for the narcissist, it's a stage. Think of the words Alicia used: he was more concerned with how he looked in the mirror across the room than with me. This simple observation says it all. Whether they're boasting about how skilled they are, or they're focusing on the aesthetic of how they appear, the narcissist believes they're essentially performing. They want your applause, your moans, your compliments, as their standing ovation. If you fail to deliver, you can expect them to punish you or pull away. By the way, in the comments section, let me know if you've seen or heard of anyone who does that, someone more enthralled by their reflection or by some grandiose self-image than by the mutual experience. 3. Your gratitude is expected, and mandatory. Let's talk about gratitude as currency. A narcissist can treat sexual intimacy as a favor they do for you. You should be grateful, they think, or sometimes even say. In Alicia's case, Jared would sometimes mention, "I could be out with someone else right now, but here I am with you." This tactic implies Alicia was somehow not worthy, and that Jared was stooping down from his godlike throne to spend time with her. The negativity fosters a sense of indebtedness and guilt. Alicia, or you, or anyone in that situation, might find themselves inadvertently showering them with thanks and admiration to stave off rejection or conflict. So let's check in. Have you ever had the sense that you must keep thanking your partner just for the privilege of their presence, or the privilege of them wanting you physically? If so, that's a red flag. Real closeness is not a debt you owe. 4. It's your purpose to serve my desires. The concept that a narcissist fosters is that your role is to fulfill them, feed their illusions, and quell their insecurities. During intimacy, they might claim to be focusing on your pleasure or your satisfaction, but watch closely. It's more about them collecting "wow, you're so amazing" feedback. Alicia shared that after each intimate moment, Jared would prompt her for details. "Didn't you love how I did X, or how I tried Y? Tell me more, in detail." It wasn't an inquiry of, "What can I do to make it better for you?" but a demand for praise. There's no genuine interest in reciprocity, no genuine curiosity about your experience. It's a one-sided dynamic. I encourage you to reflect on that dynamic if you or a friend suspect it. 5. I will control how you react and feel. A narcissist's worldview: I am the choreographer. You are the dancer. If you want to slow down, if you want to be more gentle, if you want to express a particular preference, no. That's not part of the narcissist's script. Their illusions about themselves do not allow them to respond gracefully to your preferences or boundaries. Alicia said that if she ever tried to shift the pace, Jared would get irritated, sometimes rolling his eyes or even forcibly reasserting his chosen speed or position. This left her feeling powerless, fueling a sense of guilt, like she was a bad partner. So if you find yourself feeling forced, overridden, or anxious to the point that you're more worried about the other person's reaction than your own comfort, that is a sign that something is gravely off. 6. I will leverage this giving later. Narcissists rarely do anything without an ulterior motive. If they show extra attention or attempt to do something for your sake, it's an investment. Let's emphasize that they invest in you momentarily, so that they have more fuel to manipulate you with later. Alicia's diaries, she actually kept diaries, show that each time Jared gave her a specifically wonderful intimate experience, or so it seemed, within days or even hours, he'd be reminding her of it. "Remember what I did for you last night? So how about you do this for me?" This is sexual currency at its darkest. Real love rarely keeps receipts. But narcissists keep a ledger, ensuring they can always remind you who the giver was, thus expecting you to pay it back. If you see that dynamic, it can be a sign that you're not in a safe emotional space. 7. You are replaceable. My options are wide open. Scarcity, a powerful fear or sense that we're not enough, not the best. Narcissists exploit that. They might reference exes or people who flirt with them, or potential new partners who'd happily fill your spot. Why do they do this? One reason is fear. They don't want you to become too secure, to hold any sense of personal power, or believe that you have choices and can leave. Instead, they want you to doubt your worth, be desperate to please them, and to do anything to keep them. Alicia recalled how Jared always teased about a coworker who apparently admired him. He'd bring her up after Alicia set some boundary in the bedroom. The subtext was, "If you can't meet my demands, someone else will." That's emotionally devastating, especially for someone who invests genuine love. So if you sense such implied or explicit threats, like they have a line of admirers waiting to replace you, this is a manipulative gambit to keep you in line. 8. Your vulnerabilities and secrets are tools, not sacred trusts. When we are physically intimate with someone, we often reveal deeper layers of ourselves, fears, fantasies, triggers. For a healthy partner, these confessions are treasured, protected. For a narcissist, they are ammunition. Alicia told me how Jared learned about her past heartbreak from an abusive ex, and later twisted that knowledge to gaslight her, frequently implying, "Your perspective is off, that ex messed you up. You can't handle a normal relationship." That is a direct exploitation of vulnerability. The next time you sense that your personal disclosures are being weaponized, know it's no accident. Narcissists see emotional revelations as cracks in your armor, perfect for infiltration and control. 9. Sex doesn't increase emotional closeness. One of the hardest pills to swallow for someone entangled with a narcissist, physically intimate moments do not create deeper emotional or spiritual closeness for them. They keep emotional intimacy and physical intimacy separate. Alicia noticed that after a supposedly passionate night, the next morning was bizarrely void of warmth. Jared acted as if nothing special had happened, sometimes even more critical or cold. This can cause a roller coaster in the partner's mind. Wasn't that supposed to bring us closer? Did I do something wrong? The truth, narcissists do not integrate physical closeness with emotional closeness. Sex is a fleeting event of gratification or performance, not a path to a deeper bond. 10. Once satisfied, I need my space, leave me alone. Finally, the hallmark of narcissistic intimacy is abrupt emotional cutoff once they've had their fill. Alicia would lie there, ready to share some tenderness, wanting to talk or cuddle, and Jared would either roll over, check his phone, or literally leave the room. The narcissist is done, physically and emotionally. They do not do aftercare. If you try to bring them back, you risk incurring their wrath, "Don't cling," or "I need to rest," or "You're so needy." This can be profoundly isolating, turning an act that should be uniting into an event that intensifies your sense of isolation, ironically with them lying right next to you. At this point, you might be feeling heavy or triggered. You might see parallels with your own experiences or those of a friend or a relative. Or maybe you're just discovering how manipulative and mechanical an NPD individual can be. Let me invite you to reflect, in the face of these 10 disturbing stances, what resonates as the biggest red flag for you? Let me know in the comments if you're comfortable. Now, I'd like to pivot slightly. We can glean wisdom from those who overcame such relationships. One often referenced figure is the late singer Tina Turner. She overcame an abusive relationship overshadowed by manipulative control. While not every relationship is clinically narcissistic, the public details show many patterns we talk about: intimidation, devaluation, an attempt to break down her sense of self. Eventually, she broke free. She soared in her career and found a more peaceful personal life. Her story exemplifies that even when mired in confusion and intimidation, we can push forward, find clarity, and eventually stand in our power. So, how do you stand your ground if you find yourself in the thick of these mind games? Let me offer a few guidelines. First, trust your sense of distress. If your mind and body are telling you that something feels off, do not discount it. Don't let them rationalize away your intuition. Second, reestablish boundaries. That's not easy to do if the narcissist punishes your boundaries by withholding or intensifying manipulative tactics. But even baby steps, like politely but firmly refusing certain behaviors, can do wonders for your self-esteem. Third, reach out. Connect with a therapist, confide in supportive friends, or join a support group, online or offline. The validation from others who have experienced similar issues can be life-saving. Fourth, if feasible, consider safe exit strategies. For some of you, leaving might not be immediate, due to children, finances, or other ties. But having a plan and knowledge about your rights and resources can shift the dynamic so you're no longer feeling powerless. Let's bring Alicia's story to a close. After months of therapy and quite a bit of heartbreak, she decided she deserved better than the cold illusions and manipulative patterns she saw with Jared. She made a plan, sought emotional and financial advice, and left. It wasn't easy. Jared tried to guilt her back, employing hoovering by using references to their special nights. But Alicia recognized the script. She recognized that for Jared, it was purely strategic. She found the strength to remind herself what those nights really signified for him, nothing more than a means to maintain control. She parted ways and, to this day, continues therapy focusing on rebuilding her trust and closeness. She's engaged in a new relationship that is far from perfect, but it's real, and that's what matters. To wrap up, let me summarize the 10 disturbing mental vantage points narcissists may hold during sex. They see it as an ownership certificate, believing your submission cements their power. They treat it as a performance platform, focusing on how amazing they appear. They view your gratitude as mandatory. You'd better appreciate my generosity. They consider you existing to serve them, your comfort is secondary. They forcibly direct your reactions and your pace, ignoring your comfort or desire. They store every act of giving for future emotional blackmail. They keep alternative supplies in mind, reminding you that everyone is replaceable. They see your vulnerabilities as secrets to be exploited, not cherished. They do not see this as a route to greater emotional intimacy. Once satisfied, they discard the moment and often you, abrupt and cold, leaving you lonely. It's jarring to accept that someone you love or share a life with might be thinking in these ways, but awareness can be a form of liberation. We can exit denial, confront reality, and make choices that preserve our dignity. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be, you are worthy of a love that recognizes your humanity, your desires, your boundaries, and your emotional needs. As we draw to a close, if you've had experiences that ring true with these 10 points, share in the comments any wisdom or resources you found helpful. It might guide someone else. Throughout the day, if you find yourself doubting your experiences or your reactions, pause and ask, am I the only one who sees these manipulative tactics, or are my instincts valid? More often than not, your instincts are valid. Finally, take a deep breath. Embrace the fact that real, soul-nourishing intimacy does exist. In a healthy relationship, physical intimacy is a place of mutual acceptance and closeness, not fear and performance. Thank you for staying with me through this lengthy exploration. If it resonated, please share it with others who could use a reality check in a confusing relationship. Let's foster a community of clarity, knowledge, and healing. And remember, whatever stage of the journey you're in, whether you're suspecting narcissistic manipulation or you've just left a narcissistic relationship, or you're far into your healing, you're not alone, you're not at fault, and your future is absolutely salvageable. Keep that in mind, keep your boundaries close, and, as always, take care of your heart.